Hello, Africa. My name is Eunice Tony, and this is e.TVGhana's African Women's Voices Show, the show that tackles issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. You are all welcome to the month of love. Thank you very much for all the messages that you sent to us and all the comments and contributions. We want to say a very big thank you for following up with all our conversations. And we want you to stick and stay because today's conversation promises to be very exciting and very educative. So, WCW personality for African Women's Voices today is someone that a lot of us in Ghana know, and she's also known beyond Ghana, across Africa and across the world. She used to be the former chairperson of the Electoral Commission. She's no other person than Charlotte Osei, and it happens that she was born on the 1st of February, and we want to wish her a very happy birthday. Birthday, Charlotte Osei, and we pray that the Lord will be with you and grant you many, many of your heart desires. So, we always have our 60 seconds update where we talk about what's happening to women in Ghana, across Africa, and across the world. Once you're an African woman, our lenses will definitely get to you. That will be coming up right now. But before we go up to that segment, I'd like to introduce you to our sponsors. They are the people who have made it very possible for us to be having the show today. And as usual, first on the list is Voltic. Voltic is my hydration partner. So whenever you think hydration, think Voltic, because Voltic is one drink or one water that actually is seen to environmental safety in Ghana. They do not want you to litter the streets of Ghana, so they've provided bins at vantage points. So whenever you take your Voltic, just twist it and put it in the bin. Thank you so much, Voltic, for keeping Ghana clean. We also want to say a very big thank you to Lizzie's Tomato Mix, and the message from them is that Lizzie's Tomato Mix is a perfect blend of finest tomatoes, and it gives your meals a great taste. Prepare all your dishes with Lizzie Tomato Mix, especially your jollof, stew, granite soup, etc. Oh, light soup is amazing with Lizzie's Tomato Mix. Lizzie's Tomato Mix is all you need to make your food taste delicious. For bulk purchase, kindly call 050 140 1085 or 033 20 95314. Thank you so much, Lizzie's Tomato Mix. And we have Chanashito, Ghana's #1 pepper sauce. If you want it hot, we've got it. If you want it mild, we've also got it. If you've not tasted Chanashito, please rush now and ask for Chanashito. The packaging is also very, very much on point. A lot of packaging come out, in a way that you can't even present it to anyone. But with Chanashito and the packaging, the presentation is so nice. And anybody you present it to will definitely tell you that it tastes really, really good. And my hair is proudly put together by Awu's Hair. You can locate her on Instagram and Facebook. You can find her on Awu's_hair. That's where you get to find her. She's able to make braids. She's able to make wig caps. She's able to bleach them. Whatever style it is that you want, Awu's Hair would definitely sort you out. And today I'm looking really gorgeous in my outfit. It's the month of love, and I choose to celebrate it with the red color. And look forward to what I'm going to wear next week, because Afariwa Style says she's going to ensure that this Valentine month, this month of love, will definitely be a great one. And I am wishing you also a very good month in this February. And I'm asking that if you want to get to know where Afariwa Styles is, it's not difficult to locate at all. You can find her on Instagram and Facebook at afariwa.styles. If you don't want to go there, you can also call her. Her number is on the screen right now. Give her a call and she's going to get back to you definitely. She's got delivery services and she takes care of both ladies and gentlemen. She's got gift vouchers. Afariwa makes shopping when it comes to clothes very, very easy. You can also locate her physically at Osu or on the Teshi Nungwa Road. And anyone you ask for Afariwa Styles definitely will show you where she is. Thank you so much, Afariwa. I am really loving my dress. Okay, now we're going to be going over to the 60 seconds update segment where we tell you what's happening to women who are Africans here in Ghana and across the world. Do stay tuned as we bring that to you.
The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association has disclosed that 5 nurses and midwives have died since the outbreak of coronavirus in Ghana last year. According to the association, over 800 nurses have also been hit with the virus, some of whom have recovered and returned to work. Speaking in an interview, the General Secretary of the association, David Tinkrine Chum, said a lot more effort is needed by the government to ensure the safety of health professionals. He also called on the government to restore the incentives offered to health workers during the peak of the infection last year. Ms. Rose Goslinga, co-founder and co-chief executive officer of PULA, an African agricultural insurance and technology service provider, has revealed that PULA has closed a $6 million series, a fundraiser to support the expansion of PULA Asia and Africa by providing yield and animal insurance for smallholder farmers across Africa and Asia. The new investment will be used to scale up operations in the company's existing 13 markets across Africa. She indicated, speaking on the new fundraise, Ms. Goslinga pointed out that with the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic across the globe, smallholder farmers need assurances now more than ever, and having TLCOM Capital and Women's World Banking alongside this resilience journey opens up many more opportunities. Apple Africa Today announces the latest featured artist in its Africa Rising Artist Development Program as Ghanaian singer-songwriter and producer Amare, real name being Amasewa Jemfi. She said, "It's amazing to be selected by the Apple Music as their Africa Rising Artist. The love and support the album has received from the Apple Music family has been incredible." Apple Music's Africa Rising is an exclusive artist development showcasing and elevating rising talent and introducing the next generation of African superstars.
And you're welcome back to e.TVGhana's African Women's Voices show. So if you're just joining us, well, you actually are not late, but next time do try and meet us up early, okay? So we discussed on our social media pages that we're going to be talking to a lady who is well known to lots of us who are familiar with her on social media. She's somebody who is very calm and very eloquent. And I'm not going to say too much about her, but I'm going to let you know that you need to grab your seat. Grab your seat right now and grab your Vortic so that once she's talking to you, you definitely will know that, okay, it's time for business. Have you done that? Good. All right, so the person we are going to be speaking today is Samantha Wuta-Ofe. She's also known as Lady Sam. She's an experienced marketer with several years in customer service training under her belt. She is an accredited life coach, and she holds sessions, both private and group sessions, for professional women covering various aspects of their lives, ranging from personal to professional. Her combined experience makes her relatable and practical. She offers real solutions to the challenges that women face, particularly in their daily lives. So everybody, join me as I make welcome Samantha Wuta-Ofe. Drum roll. Samantha, Lady Sam, you're welcome.
Thank you. You made me feel so good this evening. Thank you.
I mean, that's what women do for each other. You know, we always support each other, and it's beautiful to see how women are doing a lot to ensure that, you know, their contributions in society is being amplified. Yeah. Because a lot of times people feel that, okay, women, we talk too much, but we are also making things happen. Exactly. See how you're actually helping a lot of women with their professional and personal needs. That's something to be commended.
And when you give me such a platform, that's also to be commended. So thank you. Looking lovely in your outfit, by the way.
Thank you so much, and thank you to our Fariwa Styles. All right, viewers, before now, we talked to you about the fact that it's Valentine, and we also want you to have your mental health intact. This is because we've realized through research, according to BayanMentalHealth.com in January 2020, that whilst Valentine's Day is meant to be a day of joy and romance, lots of people spend the day feeling lonely and depressed. In fact, some research suggests that Valentine's Day is the start of an annual rise in suicide rates, which peaks in April. We do not want something like this happening to anybody who is watching us. So we want to ensure that our mental health is intact. That is why we've brought you a life coach and a podcaster who is also a motivational speaker. So she actually has helped a lot of women with their personal lives and professional lives. And today we want her to help us have a conversation around how to celebrate Valentine and also keeping our mental health intact. So I'd like you to stay tuned as we continue with the conversation. I just mentioned that you're a life coach,
Yes.
and maybe we would like to let people who are watching who a life coach actually is.
Okay. So simplistically put, a life coach is basically somebody who coaches you or helps somebody to reach their goals quicker than what they would themselves. So it's about goal setting. But let me tell you, Eunice, the thing is, sometimes there's a bit of a blurred line between what a life coach is and a psychotherapist. So I just want to use this opportunity to say that with a psychotherapist, and I actually have a good friend who's a psychotherapist, a psychotherapist really looks or can look at trauma. They look at healing. You know, sometimes they even go back and look at your childhood. This is not the expertise of a life coach, because like I said, we are more about goal setting. So that's the distinction, I'm trying to use a word, big word here. So that's this is the clarity between what a life coach is and what a psychotherapist is.
So the psychotherapist looks at healing,
Yes.
and then the life coach does.
Yeah, so we are more about setting goals and helping you to set goals, right?
Okay.
But whereas a lot of the times people who go, not all, but a lot of the times people who go and visit a psychotherapist is because maybe there is a trauma that they want help with in managing. Maybe there's healing that they need, maybe you can't confide in a friend, so you go to a psychotherapist, like I said, and sometimes it's quite intensive. They even have to take you through childhood memories. So it's that type of experience and relationship. This is not the job of a life coach. So I just want to make that distinction.
Clear.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're watching us right now, the distinction has been made, and that's the reason why we have a life coach here. So today's episode is all about how to help you to set the right goals. Because while people are feeling lonely within the month of love, we want them to actually set their minds on achieving certain goals that will make them live a better life. We're going to continue this conversation right after this commercial break. When we return, we're going to be asking Samantha a lot more questions about how to deal with whatever is happening to us within this month of love. Do stay tuned. Welcome back to e.TVGhana's African Women's Voices show. If you just joined us, we introduced our guest, and that's Lady Sam. She just mentioned to us what it means for someone to be a life coach, because she's a life coach and she's going to be taking us through the conversation today. So she distinguished between the life coach and a psychotherapist. A psychotherapist actually looks at a patient from the perspective of granting healing. You know, so maybe you have a mental situation, an emotional situation, and you can't confide in somebody, and you need somebody to talk to, you go to a psychotherapist. So for a life coach, what they do is that they help you set goals to be able to live a better life. And we started the episode mentioning the fact that during the Valentine season or the love season, a lot of people, because they probably don't have somebody to spend the season with, it leads them, to do certain things. Loneliness could lead them into depression. Loneliness could help them into wanting to commit suicide or do something to themselves. And that's not what we want to happen. Therefore, we have a life coach here who's going to help us to be able to set goals for ourselves so that the loneliness, or maybe because you don't have anybody to spend the love season with, well, you shouldn't be so worried, because you've got something to focus on that will take you through the period, and you definitely live a better life. So before we go on with the conversation, I'd like to read out a message from Global Youth Empowerment Center. They are presenting International Level Up Conference 2021. International Level Up Conference is a conference that seeks to empower the youth and women at large to find purpose and pick up the pieces to forge ahead despite the challenges COVID-19 has come with. Observing all protocols, life still goes on. The youth especially are confused about identifying their purpose in terms of career and choices one wants to make during and after COVID. Women especially face so many challenges picking the broken pieces together, and this conference seeks to be a voice that will bridge the gap to give hope and self-discovery. Part of the proceeds for the event will be used to support 100 youths in a vocational skill training. And the theme for the event is Finding Purpose and Mending the Broken Piece Beyond COVID Pandemic. The speakers are Neil Armstrong Mutgabi, Ohinier Gifte Auntie, Reverend Mrs. Gloria Lamte, Reverend Ajo Dixon, and Madame Dorothy Amwa. The date is on the 5th to the 6th of March, and time is from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Venue is Believers House of Worship on the Sprintex Road, last stop, Opoigono. Book your ticket by dialing *713 *33 *29 #. I'll take it again. *713 *33 *29 # and pay with Momo. Contact is 0544 21 7662. 0544 21 7662. Great. So Sam, now that we know who a psychotherapist is and who a life coach is, I'd like to ask this. Do you think everyone needs the services of a life coach?
Good question. It would be easy for me to say yes, right? For business reasons. But the truth of the matter is, not everybody needs a life coach. What I would say though, everybody has a purpose. And the idea of a life coach is if somebody is at a crossroads in their life and they basically just need somebody to help them, because the truth is when you have a session with a life coach, you have the answers as a client, you have the answers. And it's my job as a life coach to draw the answers out of you. So it's the conversation we have, and it's asking the right conversations will help the client to arrive at the destination that they probably didn't know they wanted to be on. So honestly, it's not that you need it, but there's definitely benefits from having a session with a life coach, if I'm honest with you.
Awesome. So now that we have set the ball rolling, let's look into the love season, which is actually the main reason why we're here to have our discussion. And please, we're going to be opening the phone lines very early today so that you get the chance to be able to speak to us about your concerns around the conversation, okay? So whatever comment or contribution you'd like to make, the phone lines are going to be active. We'll put the number on the screen, and then you can call in, and then we'll have a conversation with that. So I wanted to find out from you, Sam, how can one deal with the loneliness that comes with, you know, this love season? Because not everyone has gotten a partner. Not everyone, and it's not like nobody wants to find, but maybe for some reasons you don't have one, and it's like everybody is paired up. If you look on TV, the adverts are talking about couples doing one thing or the other, you know, traveling, having vacations. There's so many packages, and these packages are targeting, you know, couples. And here is the case that some people actually don't have anybody who they would be doing some of these things with, so they find themselves lonely. How do you think one who is not in a relationship can cope in this season of love with all the hullabaloo around it?
Okay, Eunice, that is a big question. So let me put it like this. When I respond, I think I'll be responding not just as a life coach, but somebody who is a spiritual person. I'm a believer. I believe in God. And also from some of the insights I've picked. So, look, Valentine's Day is just that. It's a day. And I think that we are putting ourselves in a not great position if we are defining ourselves by how we are celebrated on one day. Now, I'm a marketer. You introduced me as such, right? And there is an agenda. So all the adverts you were talking about, these are people who are advertising because it benefits them business-wise. So I think that we should put things into perspective. I mean, that's the first thing I'd say to somebody who's single and looking for love. There is nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong with looking for love. I mean, the Bible says it, right? It's not good for man to be alone. But if you are alone, then I think that it is a time that you should look at the reasons why. And whilst you are in transition, in other words, if you know that you are supposed to be married and settled down one day, see it as an opportunity to really improve yourself and develop yourself. Because I'll tell you the truth, we all get down sometimes, but if you find yourself in a position where you're feeling really low and down, for me, the first question I'll ask is, where is this person's focus? Because a relationship is a part of your life, and it can be a big part. I cannot deny it, especially when you're married with children, right? But there are other parts of your life. So whilst you're not there, you know, why are you deferring your happiness, right? And like we're talking about taking steps. The step is actually a mental step. So you have to make a decision in your mind that, okay, I'm here, so let me make the most of my situation whilst I'm here. You want to be the best person you can be as somebody who is single. You know, I also want to quote something. I am part of a fellowship, a Christian fellowship, and we had somebody called Reverend Bishop Susan N.T. join us. And she said something, and I wrote it down here, so I just want to read it to your viewers, right? And she said that we should know our worth. Sometimes we don't understand our worth. And if we're not careful, it can be abused. Your gift can be abused. And sometimes when you are in a relationship with somebody, if they don't understand your worth, it can be abused. You know, because sometimes you're trying, you know, like square peg in a round hole, because you're trying to force something. If it's not working, it's not working. Don't force yourself to be in this situation. I always believe, I'll quote the Bible again. Ecclesiastes says, in his time, what does it say? Yeah, I know you're a woman.
He makes all things beautiful.
Exactly. So you should know that there is a time and a season for everything. So really, it's about having the right focus. And, you know, I know I've had situations or conversations with some women, and you listen to them and you realize that there's something out of sync. They haven't demarcated their boundaries, you know, and if you give so much to somebody, you have nothing left. And you have to train somebody how to love you, right? And the only way you can do that is if you start loving yourself. So again, I go back to what I said earlier on. It's about self-love. You need to love yourself first, right? And know who you are before you can then think about this relationship thing. Because if not, you're going to end up in a pattern, a circle pattern.
So when you talk about this self-love, for instance, so you talk about personal development.
Yes.
If you love yourself, you're going to want to make yourself better.
Yes.
So you can decide to go to school, you can decide to read, you can decide to research into so many areas that you really don't have understanding.
Exactly.
You can even decide to go on vacation, you know, for leisure, to do something new. You can decide to just travel and, you know, see the world and all of that. So these are things that you can even do for yourself if you're single and you're feeling maybe like you're going to be lonely in the love month. So it's something you need to look forward to. Oh, wow, I'm going to be reading 10 books within the month of love. So by the time you're focusing on the 10 books that you're reading, you don't even have time to begin to think about people who are saying they're going to couple this, they're going to do that, or do all these activities. So it's about self-love. But when you are expressing self-love, it has to do with what you're going to do to enrich yourself. So you decide to go to school, you decide to read books, you decide to go on vacation on your own. You can decide to even be with certain friends who are like-minded. So that if there are other ladies who are your friends who probably also are not engaged at those times, you could even do something together and it will keep you happy. All right, we'll continue right after this commercial break. We will be right back. So please grab your Voltic. It's Voltic time. You're welcome back to the show. Just before we went on that commercial break, I asked you to grab your Voltic, and I want to believe that you did that, right? Okay, so our life coach, Lady Sam, mentioned that if you are likely to be lonely, or if already you know you're going to be lonely during this love season, you need to look at yourself from inside and love yourself. How do you love yourself? You have to be able to look into personal development and enrich yourself, so that you can live a better life and be focused on things that are positive. So how do you show yourself this kind of this self-love? She's talking about probably giving yourself a treat going on vacation. You could decide that you want to read about 10 books. You can also decide to do something with people who are like-minded, who probably don't really have anybody they're going to spend in the season also with. So you could do something really nice with your own friends. So now that we are back, I want to ask her another question. But before I ask that question, I'd like you to know that we have a message from Ghana Beverage Awards. And the message is, what comes to mind when glasses or bottles click? What's your best beverage for a gift? Get ready for Ghana Beverage Awards 2020 on Tuesday, 19th January. Catch us live on YFM Accra's mid-morning show. Okay, so this is about the fact that we launched Ghana Beverage Awards on the 19th of January, and nominations are going on right now. So if you haven't nominated your favorite beverage, it's time for you to nominate. Nominations started on the 19th of January, and it will be closing on the 19th of February. So go out there on the website, which is www.ghanabeverageawards.com for more details. That's where you get to nominate whoever it is that you feel ought to win a particular award. Time is running out. Okay, so Lady Sam, we've talked about how people can deal with loneliness, you know, if they are not in a relationship. This case, let's look at a scenario where somebody is in a relationship already, but is dealing with some kind of hurt. So for some reason, there's a problem in the relationship. They've not said, okay, we are going our separate ways. So based on this hurt, the person kind of knows that it's not going to be so nice during this love season because there's a hurdle that has to be actually, you know, worked out. There's a problem, there's a situation that has to be tackled. It hasn't been tackled. So the person also is going to feel some kind of loneliness. What would you suggest somebody in this kind of situation should do?
I mean, let me also reiterate a point I made earlier on. I think we really have to, like I said, I'm a marketer, and we know that Valentine's Day is commercialized, right? So people have to start separating Valentine's Day from the real situation. It's just one day. If you are in a relationship and it's not serving your needs, it's not meeting your expectations, or it could be the other way around. You may not be meeting the person's expectations. That's what you need to be looking at and addressing. You need to relook at the relationship. Separate Valentine's Day, because that relationship, it doesn't matter what day it is. That relationship is something that you have to deal with. I think I just want to add something. I think we have to start changing the narrative. And I've seen evidence of that. Some years ago, I started to see that people were posting up pictures of not their other halves, but maybe a guardian, maybe their parent. They were celebrating love. You know, it's about love. So it wasn't just about, the romantic love. So what I'm saying is that it's about your focus. You are lonely. It doesn't matter if it's Valentine's Day or not. Let's deal with that issue. You have to start, if I can use this phrase, facing your demons. Definitely you have to relook at the relationship, and you have to say to yourself, what is it I want? Am I getting what I want? If not, then you have to have that honest conversation. But the first conversation must start with yourself. And once you know, then you know the next conversation to have. Really, I may sound like, it's easy, but I've also had to work on myself, and that's why I'm saying that. We really have to not subscribe to this Valentine's Day, I'm not worthy. God says you're worthy, right? He knows every hair on your head. He loves you, right? And I'm sure, depending on who it is, there are other loved ones you have. Sometimes you have to look. That's why I mentioned I like this narrative that has changed a bit, where people are showing love to others. I think we should start doing that and look at the things that are working in our lives and focus on that. That would be my answer.
So in other words, if you're actually in a relationship and maybe you're dealing with a hurt, so it means you probably, within the love season, you overlook what the situation is and then focus on the positives.
Yes.
And then, celebrate the time with the
Yes.
person and not let the time pass just
Yeah.
because you're having challenges,
Yes.
then you want to capitalize on the challenge, and then you will not even enjoy the season at all. So you need to focus on the positives of that relationship to be able to get past it. Maybe when things calm down, you may get the chance to be able to have the conversation.
Well, okay, you know, I think firstly I need to make a distinction because the relationship I was talking about is a dating relationship.
Okay.
If you're talking about marriage, that's another discussion altogether. So I think I need to make that distinction. We need to make it clear. So I'm talking about somebody who is dating, and I mean, from your definition, they're in a relationship, they're not entirely happy. What I'm basically saying is not by force. And we shouldn't let the Valentine's Day come into it. You need to face the real situation. That is if you're dating, right?
Okay.
If this is somebody who's married, I think it's a different ball game altogether. I think you'll agree. So if somebody is in a situation and is coming up to Valentine's Day, they're married. I mean, I recall one lady who was, I mean, it was just a general conversation, but it was very clear to me that actually there was a miscommunication in the relationship. You know, we have love language, and they say there's 5 love languages, right? There is quality time, acts of service, affirmation. I mean, there's 2 others which are not coming to mind now. And it was clear that her husband had one love language and she had another. So sometimes it's just about the communication gap. Sometimes it is. Again, we shouldn't put pressure on ourselves because it's Valentine's Day. This is a relationship that needs working on, right?
Yes.
So it's about having that right conversation, understanding each other. You know, when COVID, really it's a time for rediscovery, if you want me to be honest. This is how I see it. And it's time to get to know your partner again. Why did you choose this person as your husband, and why did they choose you as their wife? We need to start having those conversations again and remember why we fell in love, right? Of course, this sounds simple. It really sounds
like easier said than done.
Easier said than done. But it's also the truth. It's also the reality. So again, Valentine's Day, yes, I'm not against people celebrating it. Please don't misunderstand me. But I'm just saying that whilst we are doing that, let's also try to keep things in perspective. Let's have the right focus, because when you do that, it will really minimize the impacts of hurt. Of course, we all want to be loved, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you are still worthy whether you have someone or not. You are still worthy if you are having difficulty in your marriage or not. Or even, as we mentioned earlier on, if you're dating or not. So I cannot give advice, you know, generally, I mean, because each relationship and its story. But if I'm to give general advice for dating, please, you are not married. So you don't have to put up with something you don't need to, right?
Okay.
And if you are married, I think that you need to go back to the drawing board. That's my
I like the
response.
fact that you talked about COVID, and we need to remind our audience that COVID is still very much around. We need to observe all the protocols, mask up, wash your hands, ensure that you express social distancing in all that you do. COVID is very much around, and I think it would be good for us to put up what the figures are looking like here in Ghana so that we are reminded of what the situation is. Yeah, we have it there. The active cases right now are on 5,515. The new cases are around 772, and so far the deaths are around 424 deaths. The confirmed cases are 67,782. Recoveries are at 61,843. So, ladies and gentlemen, we all know and we can see that the situation is still on the increase. So we all need to observe the protocols that is going to keep us very, very safe. We will definitely go on another commercial break, but it will be very important for us to know that our life coach here is someone who is very practical in all that she does. So she's going to be able to get to answer any questions that you want to put across. I've seen that some of you have put up some comments on our Facebook page, and I'd like to go there before we go on a quick commercial break. So I'll give the question out so that people can be processing the question, and then we can give the answers when we return. Okay, this one is from, she says her name is Nneka Ago, and she is watching us from Abuja, Nigeria. She's saying, thank you very much, Lady Sam, for your recommendation, especially when it comes from the angle of religion. I believe in God, and I know that God is working himself out in my relationship. Unfortunately, I've not been very lucky when it comes to relationships, and I always see myself lonely on Valentine Day. But with what you have said, I have decided I'm going to focus on better things. I'm going to focus my energy on reading books and also probably travel. Thank you so much. All right, so Nneka, watching us from Abuja, thank you so much for your contribution. I also have a message here from Shania. Shania is watching from the United States of America. Shania, are you African? Okay, I don't see any picture here, but at any rate, thank you very much for coming in. And you're saying here, is it a question that you've put up? You're asking here. Okay, so in my case, I really want to be able to work things out with my husband, but it's very difficult, and I want to use this Valentine season to work things out. I hope it's a good time to work this out with him. So I'd like you to let me know if it's a good time to work this out with my husband. All right, so when we come back from the commercial break, she'll give you her suggestion. So grab your Baltic, it's commercial break time. Do not go away. You're welcome back to e.TVGhana's African Women's Voices show. The phone lines are active, so you can call in if you choose to. If you also feel more comfortable to send in your message on Facebook, fine, do that. We will also read through your messages. A lot of them have come through though, but some of them, we've already answered those questions. So if you are able to go back on the link and then watch from the beginning, you definitely get your answers. However, if we still have time, we'll address them, okay? So just before we went on the commercial break, Sam, we talked about COVID and how it's on the increase. And you know that somehow, because of COVID, there's some kind of distancing between couples, married ones too, somehow, because like there's this fear or this phobia. You're not so sure of your partner now because, I mean, COVID doesn't really look at whether you are a husband or a wife, or a brother, sister, you know, it doesn't really care. It attacks anyone. So initially, couples used to be very affectionate with each other and all of that, but it looks like some couples are beginning to experience a little bit of distancing, and it's actually making some people feel lonely within the relationship because they are used to a relationship where they cuddle, they touch, you know, they do stuff that are so affectionate, but it's reduced because of the pandemic. So it's impacting you know, some relationships, both dating relationships and marital relationships. How would you say, maybe a lady who is dealing with this distancing, you know, how would you say she should cope with this situation?
Look, I mean, the reality is COVID is here, and we don't know how long it will be here. It's a challenging time. It's a challenging time for all of us. And some of us have had some very negative experiences, have been impacted negatively. So the psyche of people, we have to bear this in mind. The first thing I want to say, though, is that we should know that it is not permanent. Though I cannot tell you, only God can tell us how long we'll have to deal with this. We should have this in the back of our mind. This is a temporary situation. Honestly, I don't want to say that I'm an expert when it comes to marital relations. And let's remember, COVID is something we've not seen before. But I have to go back to something I said earlier. And sometimes these things sound practical, but they work. Practical methods work. You really have to go back to that place and remind yourself why you are there in the first place. But what COVID has also done in this era of being in close proximity, though not being close, is meant that some people have to be really creative. So I would say this is also an opportunity, a time for people to get creative. You know, think about different ways that you can, you know, you can romance each other, have dinners, just you and the person in your house. You know, just have a
talk about how you met, the
Yeah,
beautiful things you like about each
reminisce.
other, you know, reminisce,
Go
yes.
through the
And talk about all
albums.
those beautiful things. Look through your albums.
Yes. I mean, look, do we have a script on this? We don't, right? But we just have to try to think out of the box and understand one another. Because this person you're talking about, maybe the husband has lost a job. It's very daunting. You're wondering what is going to happen. You don't know. But you also have to remind people that we are in this together. We are in this together, right? And like I said, for me, how I've managed, or how I manage this situation, is by telling myself it's not permanent. It's not good, but it's not permanent, and we're all in this together. So we just also have to be reflective, because whether we like it or not, life is like in some sort of pause. It's like we are suspended, right? So we have to try to reflect. Remember, we mentioned it earlier on. What is it I can do? How can I upgrade myself? Which book can I read to learn more about this subject, that subject? You can even do courses online. Some of them are free because they realize people are in this situation. You know, maybe if you have a partner and you know their passion, maybe you can help them to find a course. You have to try to do things together, really.
Okay.
And pray. Prayer is key, because some things are beyond you. So you need that intervention.
Okay.
Definitely.
Awesome. So we're going back to the question of Ujuago, who called in to message us and was asking if it's a good time for her to do something really nice for a spouse that she's living with, but they are dealing with a hurt, so it's actually affecting their relationship even in this time, you know, in this love season.
Eunice, I don't want to sound like a broken record. So yes, I would say, why not? This is definitely an opportune time. Why not? Because I don't want people to think I'm against Valentine's Day. No, I'm not. But I'm also saying keep things in perspective. So if you found this to be your opportunity where you can turn things around, why not? But again, now the practical side is coming. I would say, remember that there's an issue. You have to get to the root of that issue, right? So yes, you know, try to, I don't mind. The husband can romance the wife can romance the husband. But after that, they need to sit down and talk and communicate. It's very key. Because a lot of the times, I mean, the scenario you mentioned earlier on, it's about the lack of communication. But how? How will we get past without talking? It's so key. It's so fundamental. And if we don't have that, then we're not in a good place. So I would say, what's her name again?
Ago. Her name
Ago.
is Ujuago.
Ago. Really, I would say, please try and keep us updated. I hope things work out for you.
Okay. All right. So I have a video here that I came across on social media, and I think I'd like to share that video with every woman who is watching. The reason why I'm sharing this video is the fact that, fine, loneliness is something that nobody ever wants to have, and we are actually giving you some tips as to how to be able to get yourself not to feel lonely, even in the midst of all the conversations around people doing things as a couple and all of that. We want you to remember that you're special, that you're a queen, and even if you do not have anybody to spend the love season with, there are better things for you to do. And we want you to arm yourself with this video. Okay, but I hear there's a caller online. Let's talk to the person. Hello? Hello? Oh, we lost that call. Okay, so could we please play the video?
Hey, Queen.
Hey, Queen.
Hey, Queen.
Sister.
Girl, you've done it again.
You are constantly raising the bar for all of us and doing so flawlessly.
You do know that you're that girl, right?
I hope that when you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, you see how divine you are.
Know that so many people want what you got.
You have dreams to fulfill and promises to yourself that you must keep.
I know at times you feel underappreciated and misvalued. Trust me, we've all been there.
So it's necessary that you can count on yourself.
Now, don't go seeking perfection.
Extend yourself a little grace.
Don't be afraid to celebrate the little wins as much as the big ones.
You, Miss Thane, are courageous. You are dynamic. You are principled.
So, baby girl, just remember, respect is a minimum.
There's a sweet justice in knowing that the path you are on was designed for you and you alone.
Doing right by yourself never goes out of style.
Everything about you is majestic and a force to be reckoned with.
Trust me, people are paying attention.
You're special and worthy of praise. Don't shy away from it.
And you don't have to get your groove back because guess what? You never lost it.
It's also important to rest. Make sure your hustle doesn't get in the way of your health. Girl, take care of yourself.
And the next time you want to second guess yourself, don't do it.
So pause for a second right now and relax, relate, release.
You are needed, you are appreciated.
Girl, you make me so proud. And I love you.
Remember,
You are 100%
that
queen.
Oh, yes.
You are a queen. Do not let the love season impact your mental health. Enjoy life, okay? Take care of yourself, just like all these African women are talking to us about today. But just before we end the show, Sam, it happens that Valentine this time around is going to fall on Sunday.
Okay.
So definitely on Monday, there's going to be a lot of talks in the offices about what one person did or what the other person did, how much fun, people had and all of that. It's true that, okay, we've asked people to develop themselves and decide to focus on stuff. But when you're at work, you probably will not get the chance to be focusing on the books you want to read or something. And you also don't want to come and then tell people that, okay, I didn't get to do anything with anybody. I was reading books. It will look like, okay, where are you coming from? That kind of thing. So just over the top of your mind, what do you think we should do in this kind of situation? When people are just talking about it all over you at work, about their experiences.
I was laughing, and I'll tell you why. Not because I'm not sensitive, but the question I ask myself is, why are we preempting misery?
Okay.
We don't know what will happen that day. We don't know how the conversation will go. But just in case, I think we should also remember we don't have to explain ourselves to anyone. And remember, we were talking about earlier on, the narrative has changed somewhat. So we could say, you could just make it simple and say, if somebody said, oh, how was your Valentine's Day? It was wonderful, thank you. I spent it loving those I love. That's it.
Okay.
Why do you have to explain yourself? Just have something short, sweet, and move on. Me, that's
Awesome.
how I handle it.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, Lady Sam. It's been a wonderful time with you, and we do hope to continue this conversation, maybe a different topic, some other time. So when we call you, you'll be coming, right?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you very much, audience, for joining us today. And I want to say a big thank you to you again. Those of you who are on Facebook, who are watching us right now, you've always been there. You spend your data, you spend your time to be able to watch us. Thank you so much. I want to thank our special sponsors, Voltic. Thank you so much. Chana Shito, Lizzie's Tomato Mix, Afariwa Styles. See how good I'm looking? And Awu's Style, Awu's hair. Oh my God. Thank you so much for making me look this beautiful. And if you're a sponsor out there who is looking out to market your products, you definitely will have to consider African Women's Voices show, because all those who are on the show actually are still on it because something good is happening to their business and to their product. The repeat broadcast of this show comes up on Saturdays at 12 noon on e.TVGhana. Or you could go on YouTube to check the episode out. You can also watch it also on our Facebook page as well. So until we meet again next week, Wednesday, I'd like you to enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you. Bye-bye.